Hi, my dear Astro family. Today I wanted to make a video for you in regards to the upcoming Mercury retrograde, which is going to be taking place or starting on the 13th of December until 1st of January. And this has not happened since the 18th century. So, I mean, the same dates. So it will be probably an interesting one to check out. This Mercury retrograde is making a conjunction to Polus, one of the asteroids, and another one called Quar. So I will be talking about those, what they might indicate alongside with this Mercury retrograde. Now, I am running a medical course starting on the 6th of January. So if you are interested, check that out. It will be approximately about 15 weeks, and we cover all the basics and we take it to quite high levels as well. So I hope to see loads of practitioners, for example. Let's get going with this Mercury retrograde. So firstly, let's start with some of the dates. So Mercury went into shadow period on the 25th of November. So I would be looking back what happened in your life around 25th of November until the 13th of December. Personally, I tend to be finding Mercury shadow periods a lot stronger than the retrograde itself. The retrograde is pretty much about a reflection time. So you would need to go back and analyze something that happened during the shadow period. Then Mercury goes stationary retrograde on the 13th of December on 8 degree of Capricorn. And then it will station direct on 1st of January and then exits the shadow zone around the 20th of January. Now, I'm an advocate when it comes to Mercury. I do not like the do not sign contract part. I do not like do not buy a phone and all these type of things. That's not how Mercury retrograde works. Basically, every 11 months, Mercury, where it went a retrograde, 11 months later, it will go direct around the zodiacal degree. So, for example, if it goes retrograde around 8 degree of Capricorn, it means that 11 months before it went direct around that degree. So you can see pretty much of a time loop here and how they are connected to each other. So go back and have a look at what was going on in your life approximately 23 January. That might be able to tell you what to expect from this Mercury retrograde. That is a period of time, for example, when I was recovering from surgery. But at the same time, I decided that I would go to Thailand. So maybe this Mercury retrograde is going to be bringing me an element of property related matters or a travel related matter. That was a period of time, 2023 January, also when I purchased the property. It was around 6th of January, I believe. So hopefully it means that I will be able to sell a property that I'm selling currently, a villa in Thailand. By the way, if you know someone, please drop me an email. So Mercury entered the shadow zone on 25th of November, goes retrograde on 13th of November. These are the important dates. Then it goes direct on 1st of January and leaves the shadow zone around the 20th of January 2024. Now, it starts in the sign of Capricorn. So what do we know about Capricorn? It's about calculative moves. It's about working hard towards our goals. It's about the way we connect and speak to authority figures, or it is even a parenting sign as well. So we know that retrograde periods would be always about an element of reflection. So this is asking you to reflect on your goals. This is asking you whether you are embracing your own authority figureness somehow, whether you are working towards your goals hard enough to achieve them. So what are your goals? What do you want to achieve in the next 11 months? This could be a major topic for you. Remember that Capricorn is an earth sign, so it's about tangibility. This is the last earth sign. So it's about thinking about practical, strategic moves forward. This is a sign that is connected to reward and success. Reward and success only going to come when we analyze and track the steps on the way. It is also about looking at your responsibilities, but also what have I achieved so far? I mean, we are coming up to the end of the year. So looking at your accomplishment, a little bit of a summary point, what have I achieved? What was my goals, for example, in 2023, January, and have I achieved those? How we can, how we can maybe what to carry forward in 2024. This could be a major question, for example. Now, Capricorn is half an animalistic and half a humanitarian sign. So the animalistic side is pretty much about, you know what? We have got instincts. We have got certain type of feelings. And Mercury might be asking us to have a look at whether we are too logical, too rigid when it comes to our ideas and so forth. And maybe we should be listening to our intuition a little bit more. Often, what happens in Capricorn, Mercury has got genius ideas, but then Capricorn is a doubting sign. This is about tested methods. So, why would I go for something new that has not been tested? It's risky. So, I'm just going back to my comfort zone. So this might be telling you actually somehow to think about how to take your ideas a little bit further, how to get out of your uh how to get out of your comfort zone. I would like also to mention that Mercury is actually out of bound on the day when it goes retrograde, but it's only going to be out of bound for 2 days. So especially watch out for 13th and 14th of December, because this could be filled with loads of intuitive hits. This is when you can have a great idea. And in the sign of Capricorn, we need to learn to crystallize those ideas somehow. But also, this Mercury retrograde is a brilliant time to have, for example, a conversation with a parent of yours. Maybe it's a tough conversation. Often with Capricorn, it's about something to do with hardship. So a tough, hard communication we want to be having with someone, and we might not be prepared for it. Maybe this is something which happened around 25th of November, and then we kind of felt like we just had to swallow our own words. We were not ready to have that conversation. But internally, this is somehow going to be uh, coming back on with a retrograde motion. So this could be great. Now, remember, we've got actually three another planets that are retrograde. So we've got Jupiter, Uranus, and Chiron as well at the same time, by the way, if someone is looking at Chiron. And they are retrograde till the end of the month, really, apart from Uranus, that is going to be going direct around the 27th of January, actually. So with not Chiron, sorry, with Mercury going retrograde, he is the messenger. So it is about a message with an out of bound Mercury that you can get, but you need to take that seriously. There is the usual advice coming with Mercury retrograde, right? It's about do not purchase something. Maybe you want to be repairing something in your life. Maybe you are meant to be finalizing maybe a contract, for example, or a business project you started. If possible, do not do any major purchases. Do not do any type of or sign any type of contracts. Or maybe, travel and communication can be more on the challenging side. So this would be asking you to double check whether you bought the plane ticket or did you buy it for the right date and so forth. Yeah, but as I said, Mercury retrograde is not necessarily about that. It is asking you to become more mature, to be more responsible for your decisions. It is brilliant time to become a planner, to plan the future, to plan 2024. It is also asking you to look at whether you are using your time efficiently. And maybe this is also an indication that you're gonna have to think about a little bit more whether you have got that work and life balance. Are you overstretched? Are you overworking? Of course, it's Christmas, so we've got loads of obligations, and maybe your mind is going to be all around the obligations. But it is also very important to somehow to be centered. Remember, the opposing sign is Cancer, and Cancer would talk to you about finding inner peace, working towards your inner happiness as well somehow. These are very important, I believe, during especially the festive periods. Mercury in Capricorn can be quite worried, for example, how the Christmas party is going to go down. Do they like the food? Do they not like the food? These type of questions also could be coming up, which is pretty much understandable, I think. Major themes of the Mercury in Capricorn is very much connected to work, but also maybe imagine that you are going to be learning new skills, for example, or you're going to have to be having a different approach, the way you communicate to others. Maybe it needs to be a little bit more stripped down, but at the same time, maybe a more direct communication so that it is understandable for everyone. Mercury used to rule dreams, by the way, in ancient astrology, before Neptune came around, of course. So this could actually tell you that it's time to make your dreams a reality. So, what are your career goals? How are you going to be doing a bit of a demographic research? Are there any ways you want to be expanding your knowledge? Also, have a look at whether you are disciplined or you are serious about something. I would, let's say you want to be opening up a business. This would be a brilliant time to come up with a plan. Slow things down as well, because Capricorn is about slowly but surely we're gonna get there. So we do not need to rush. We just need the best information possible and to make things as simply as possible as well. So we might want to be making certain type of modifications around our business plans, or we want to be improving that step-by-step kind. Mercury is also, of course, the planet of learning and learning. So this could talk to you about relearning, for example, something around your doubts, about your fears, but also relearning something to do with, for example, how to make a smart objective for your employees. Uh, Also, this could be very much about having to-do list or learning about your own mistakes. I mean, the mistake is very much connected to Mercury and Saturn matters. Remember that Capricorn is an element of a burden. So often Mercury in Capricorn, I'm not good enough. For example, we are a little bit more on the quiet side. We are afraid to express our words because maybe we're gonna look stupid. These type of things could be popping up as a question. While Mercury is retrograde in the sign of Capricorn, it is sad, for example, not to have uh, uncomfortable conversations with the boss. Maybe this is not a great time to talk about promotion with them, or it's not a great time to mention that you would like to get some type of pay rise. Mercury in Capricorn tells you to get the facts right first, meaning that have a look at whether the company is in that position or what type of performance you gave them and do you think you deserve. Also, this could talk to you about that you are going to be having many deadlines. And this might be asking you somehow to stay ahead of your deadlines, especially because something might get thrown back at you, not being accepted. So, for example, you want to apply for visa. Don't leave it to the last minute because during Mercury retrograde, it's very possible that it's going to get thrown back at you. Also, this might be about just following certain type of routines. And the slower you do it, the bigger the success could be. And that is very possible. Also, as I mentioned to you, Mercury goes retrograde on two asteroids. One of them is Quar. Now, Quar is the largest Kuiper Belt object. It was discovered June 4th, 2002. Its size is very similar to Pluto's moon, which is called Charon, not to mix up with Chiron, by the way. Quar takes about 288 years to go around the sun and moves approximately 1 degree each year. And if you want to be looking at where your Quar is, then its astrological number is 50,000. So 50000. So the mythology is interesting. We've got two myths around this asteroid. One of them is that he was a creation deity of the Native American Tongva people. And Tongva mythology says that it was this person who danced and sang a song in his heart, and that is how the world was created. He was, first of all alone and in pain. And then to cheer himself up, he started dancing and singing around, and he came up with this creation song for to the guy of the sky. And eventually he decided to create some partner for him, and then others joined dancing and singing as well. And that's how the sun and the moon got created. So ever since, the sun and the moon have got their dancing in the sky. And once this all happened, then basically he just disappeared and no one ever saw him again, probably because his job was done. There is another mythology that he created the sun and the moon for his wife. He wanted his wife to be able to see them both at all times, so he was making sure that they are placed at the right time and place in the sky. And also, he is said to be the creator of all animals as well. So he is the protector of all species. So what does it mean astrologically? It typically indicates that something bad is about to happen, but something good is gonna follow that. Often this happens with Capricorn, especially with Mercury retrograde as well. We get slowed down. We have got expectations, of course, and it doesn't necessarily play out the way we wanted them to. But later on, Capricorn is all about hard work and rewards. So when we work towards something, eventually we get that. And this asteroid talks about a painful process, but also something new is on the horizon. So that's why this Mercury retrograde, I would say, is a brilliant time to plan 2024 ahead and sticking your guns to it. Then it can happen. Also, this asteroid is a little bit similar like to Tower card as well. Something needs to be gone. It's an element of a death and rebirth. Obviously, he created the sun and the moon, and then he disappeared, right? So it's also about certain type of creations, kind of like you want to be creating a product, for example. Also, often we are just placed under a microscope. So you might feel judged by others, or people are giving you certain type of dirty looks. That's very possible with this as well. Also, this asteroid is so much to do with spirituality, psychic abilities, higher consciousness, but also inner healing as well. Oh, and then it represents social activism too. So you know what, as in Capricorn, which is government, there might be more talks about social activism. But I would say that overall, because Capricorn has got two sides, right? The animalistic, the instinctual side to it. At the end of the day, this is a sea goat, and the sea pretty much represents our feelings, which might get suppressed within this sign. But Capricorn is a feminine sign, so it has got so much emotions in there. They just feel that they need a hard exterior around them, typically because of that painful process, what they went through in their lives. So, do you listen to your intuition? Do you follow your higher vibration? Do you feel that you are creative? It's the realization that you've got a brilliant mind. Um, you just need to be able to embrace that. So this would be one of the asteroid that gets activated with this. And this is almost an 8 degree, by the way. So it's very close to the Mercury uh, retrograde. Now, the other one is Polus. Now, I can talk about Polus quite a lot, actually. If you want to be looking at where it is, its astrological number is 5145. Now, uh, I'm not gonna um, I'm not going to be talking to you about all what it means, but Polus is about research, viruses, bacteria, pandemic, stained glasses, tattoos, crime, surgery, toxins, for example. It is also about opening up a lid, certain type of secrets that might be coming out. For example, basically there was a sacred fluid that must have remained contained. So it could talk to us about a sacred knowledge, the knowing of feelings, the consequences of our actions. This is Pandora's box, pretty much. But Polus typically indicates some element of turning point in our life, which comes, of course, with decision making, is the discovery of our true destiny. Polus tends to be a trigger of large events, for example. So this could talk to us about for example, a closure of a bigger organization, but also that there is a turning point in your life. This Mercury is going to be triggering, and you're going to have to think about how to turn things around. But also, it can talk to you about making a decision, whether this is the job you want to be doing, you want to move forward from it, and all those type of matters. Now, Mercury went retrograde um, in the sign of Capricorn. And it makes quite nice aspects, actually. So it's making nice aspects to the benefics, Jupiter and Venus. So, I mean, I would say that the Jupiter trine is quite strong here, and Jupiter is the planet of opportunities. So this would be giving you opportunities to expand your mind, to become a little bit more adventurous when it comes to your financial situation, for example. But Mercury is making a beautiful sextile to Venus and Pallas Athene as well that are in conjunction. So Pallas Athene again is about strategy. Venus is, for example, your money. So it might be asking you to be reconsidering how much money you want to be spending, what's your budget for it? Obviously, Capricorn is an earth sign, so it's always going to be concerned with finances, but maybe having a strategy about how to fix your relationship as well. That's a possibility also. And by the way, Mercury, as soon as goes retrograde, it has got a kind of square to Chiron, but I would say that's a little bit too wide. Now, Mercury went retrograde in the sign of Capricorn, as I said. However, it will be moving back into the sign of Sagittarius. And to give you the exact date, is going to be happening on 23rd of December. Now, a couple of things I want to mention here. because Mercury goes back into the sign of Sagittarius on 23rd of December, and it will talk to us about elements of discovery which we need to make. It is telling us to expand our horizons somehow. It is looking at whether you believe in yourself, you believe in that work you do, or maybe it's about gaining more knowledge so that your business opportunity can become more successful. Uh, Definitely with Mercury in Sagittarius remaining true to your own word as well. So if you promise something, that promise needs to be delivered. Now, interestingly, Mercury is going to be making quite hard aspects in the sign of Sagittarius. It's going to be a square to Mars, a square to Neptune. So, to give you the dates, the Mercury Neptune square is happening on 27th of December. The Mercury Mars conjunction happens on 28th of December. Uh, so, you know what? With Mercury and Mars, watch out for the cut tongues and being a little bit more argumentative in the sign of Sagittarius. You know what we just say out loud, what we think or feel with the Neptune square as well, because surely the mind is going to become a lot more sensitive. So the first part is pretty interesting here. However, the other thing I would say that the midpoint of a retrograde season is always going to be the Mercury and the Sun conjunction that is taking place on 22nd of uh, December. So we're gonna have a Kazimi. Kazimi is typically about, again, an intuitive hit, but this is happening on 0 degree of Capricorn, which is very interesting because obviously it's a solstice point to start with. Secondly, it's the beginning of a sign. So it might look like that something is about to start, but then somehow you go backwards. Uh, Maybe because you feel like it's no time yet. But of course, the Sun and Mercury cycle is going to last for about 116 days. So therefore, it looks like that after January 22nd, maybe you will be able to start something completely fresh. So guys, this is what I wanted to share about this upcoming Mercury retrograde. So I think the most important one is with Mercury being in the sign of Sagittarius, that you're gonna have to look at whether whether what type of higher education you want to be pursuing, or what do you want to learn? What do you need to learn to be able to establish a better position in the world, for example? Do you plan any type of visitations in foreign countries? It could run into, unfortunately, some mishaps with that Mars and Neptune involvement. It is telling you to maybe slow down a little bit with your adventurous side and focus a little bit more on your responsibilities. This might also be telling you not to overextend yourself. Because often what happens is that we take on too many things with Mercury in Sagittarius. But at the end of the day, Mercury retrograde started in Capricorn, which is very much about slowing things down and being more organized. So, guys, this is the Mercury retro. See you soon. Bye bye.